I want to introduce to you Dr. Rajaram. He's from Bangalore, and they have a university there, and they have a lot of studies on yoga and the therapies that they do there. So, welcome, Professor. How are you doing?
Thank you.
I would like Professor to tell us something about some of the yoga therapies and yoga practices. That's what they've been researching. So please tell us something.
Essentially, about say 15-20 years ago, I had to talk to people about yoga, but today all over the world people know about yoga. There is nothing that we need to really introduce people yoga. But then what we need to really bring about is this yoga philosophy behind it. That's very important, because all over people are taking yoga as something like a physical exercise and something to do with the health and nothing beyond that. So that's why it is necessary that in order to preserve the heritage of yoga, we need to go to the philosophy of yoga. Indian philosophy and yoga, they're absolutely closely interconnected. Actually, there is nowhere else that yoga has been taught so explicitly as it is in the Indian philosophy. And if you go back into the historical aspect of it, right from the Vedas, we have the reference about yoga. And then later on, we can see that in Ramayana, there is reference about yoga. It is not that one yoga is better than the other. The whole approach has to be like, what is the yoga that suits me? How can I really benefit with what technique that I adapt? In fact, a technique which gives me relaxation, which gives me slowness of my prana, and my mind level, I can feel calm, pleasant, then that is the right kind of yoga. There is no question of competition in the field of yoga. If a technique I adapt is not going to give me that calm state of mind or peaceful attitude, then that's not a technique of yoga for me, even though 100 others, 1,000 others follow this technique. If we can approach that way yoga, then we'll be able to work in the field of yoga with a complementary approach. There are several techniques that are there in the world, not only today, that many more number of such groups of yoga practices will be coming up in the future. It's not that somebody has better yoga, somebody has less better yoga. It is not like that. These are all the things which are complementary. Because that there are different varieties of people, they are there. So that's why we have so many varieties of techniques of yoga. And all these practices of yoga, what we are talking about, is in the field of Raja Yoga, the method of discipline. Apart from that, there are three other major practices of yoga that are there. One is the Karma Yoga, another one is the Jnana Yoga, and the last one is Bhakti Yoga. Swami Vivekananda, he has given us the idea that all these four paths, they lead to the same goal. That's what is the manifestation of inner divinity.
Okay, so Professor, would you please enlighten us a little bit about Raj Yoga?
Well, yoga, as we said, is a self-control, and a method of self-control using the willpower. A technique is called as Raja Yoga. So in Raja Yoga, the willpower is used, and then we discipline ourselves. Like we have disciplined various limbs, we have disciplined our handwriting, we discipline ourselves to learn riding a bike or swimming. So like that, we can even discipline the mind. Unfortunately, we didn't have any technique and the modern science development how to discipline our mind, and this is what yoga provides us. And when yoga says disciplining the mind, it is actually sitting down, quietening the mind. But when we want to quieten the mind, then right from the body level, we have the disturbances. Or even our interaction with the world outside can create a disturbance for us. So that's why Patanjali gives us discipline with the help of few principles in the interaction of the world outside. That's what is called as yama. And similarly, at the individual level, adapt certain disciplines in our way of life. That is what is niyama. Then he gives the disciplining at the body level, which is the asana, and disciplining at the pranayama. And then he goes to directly handling the mind, called meditation. So this is the essence of Raja Yoga, discipline from gross level to subtle level, outer to inner, at the interaction level to the deep inside, calming down the mind. Once we go beyond the mind level, then we identify ourselves with the self, and this is what is the essence of Raja Yoga.
So, Professor, thank you for explaining that. Now, would you be kind enough to explain the essence of Karma Yoga?
Disciplining that we can do in the form of Raja Yoga, maybe for about an hour, couple of hours a day. All 24 hours we will not be able to do that. We are engaged in several activities in the day-to-day life. Like I go to the office, I take care of the family, I do some gardening, I may even go for shopping. So these are all various activities that we do in the day-to-day life. How I can bring about a concept of peace of mind, improving the peace of mind in the process of doing all these activities. This is what is essence of Karma Yoga. In fact, many of the people, they think that it is the work outside which brings the stress and disturbances to the mind, and they would like to throw away the work and sit quiet. The way that Karma Yoga looks at is, don't do that, but it is because it's not the karma which is creating the problem, it's not the work which creates the problem, but it is the attitude behind the work. That's what creates a problem. And the text of Bhagavad Gita gives us a number of suggestions how we can change our attitude in the work that we do, so that the work will become, not only does not give us the stress, but it more important thing is it adds to the peace of mind, it adds to the tranquility. This is the essence of Karma Yoga. So let me just come back again. Karma Yoga is not in the work that what we do, but it is the attitude behind the work that determines Karma Yoga.
And now we'll come to the third question, and that is, what is Jnana Yoga? Please explain that.
Yoga is peace of mind, tranquility, inner harmony. And Jnana is essentially the knowledge. And you acquire the knowledge with the help of questioning. And in fact, today, the knowledge itself is such an important tool in the present day world. All this development that we see is because that we are intellectually developed, because we started questioning. When man did not question, he did not understand nature. Because he started questioning, all these secrets of the nature are revealed to him. What Jnana Yoga says, such a wonderful tool like our intellect, such a wonderful ability like questioning, can we make use of it to go towards peace of mind? That is the essence of Jnana Yoga. There are several questions in Jnana Yoga that are taken up. One is, what is the secret of happiness? And what is my essential nature? These questions become very important because we are all on the pursuit of happiness. There is nobody who does not want happiness. This is what even our Upanishads say. The scriptures, ancient Indian scriptures say that we are all after happiness. That's what is the modern world, modern science pursuit also. But only thing is that the question given a twist by the ancient wisdom, because the way that the present world looks at us, what gives me happiness? How do I get happiness? Whereas the way that Jnana Yoga questions is, what is the nature called happiness? What is the experience called happiness? And we can see that the happiness is not coming from outside. It is deep our inner nature. When the mind becomes peaceful, when you are quiet, when there is no activity going on, when you are totally relaxed, that's when you have the experience of happiness, is the conclusion that Jnana Yoga comes to. In fact, this conclusion is not strange to us. It's there in our day-to-day life. Look at our sleep, where our mind has become quiet, no other activity is going on, senses are not functioning, but we really enjoy. So that means we touch our nature called happiness. And not only that, the scripture says that no object from outside can increase your quantum of happiness in the sleep. There is no music, no sweets or anything like that somebody gives you when you are sleeping, when you are in deep sleep. It is not going to increase your happiness. On the other hand, it disturbs your state of happiness. So this way, when you try to analyze, you can see that our nature is happiness. We are unnecessarily running behind the object outside for the sake of happiness. What Jnana Yoga says, you participate in the world. World is a wonderful place for you to participate. But don't be after happiness, seeking happiness in the world outside. Like that, this is just one conclusion that I have given. Similarly, there are several questions that are taken up intellectually. And once we understand all those things, we can see that how we can be in the state of peace, tranquility, and the satisfaction.
So, having learned that we want a peace of mind and happiness, please explain to us what Bhakti Yoga is.
Another extraordinary, wonderful faculty that we are all born with, and that's what is the emotions. Even before the intellect comes to us, we have this emotion. A child, 3-4 days old, sees the face and throws a smile and responds to a nice, wonderful touch of the mother. That means that even the children have this wonderful emotion. We have two sets of emotions. One is the soft emotions and the other set is the violent emotions. Love, compassion, sense of wonder. These are the soft emotions. Every child is born with that. Anger, hatred, jealousy, depression, greed. These are all the violent emotions. Often we feel that violent emotions are also natural. But what Bhakti Yoga says, violent emotions are not natural. They are born because of the world outside. It's the ego which gives rise to anger, hatred, jealousy, all these violent emotions. I am angry with somebody because that person did not do the way that I wanted him to do. That I is important. He has something, I don't have something. That I is important. That brings about jealousy. The root cause for all these violent emotions are the I. So that is why Bhakti Yoga says, dissolve this I so that the natural emotions like soft, gentle emotions, love, compassion, appreciation, these things will be there. Whenever we are in the state of love, we are really blissful, happy, satisfied. Whenever we do out of compassion anything, that gives us the greatest satisfaction. And this is natural with us. And they are undermined because of this ego. So that's why in the bhakti sadhana, the practice of bhakti, it is not to find God, but to dissolve this ego, surrender this ego. That's why Swami Vivekananda calls bhakti as a method of self-surrender. So let us try to surrender so that love, compassion come as a natural phenomena, a natural part of us, and then we are blissful. Animals have this love, plants have love, human being definitely has this love and compassion. Unfortunately, they are not recognized. So much that they are not recognized that we have mistaken them, that we don't think that the love is our nature, we think that the love is there because of somebody else. Appreciation, we don't recognize that it is our nature. We think that one object there is appreciation, another object there is no appreciation. So it looks like that we depend on the world outside to manifest our love, compassion, these things. Bhakti Yoga says love can be your nature itself. It's not something that has to depend on the world outside. If you look at this way, that Bhakti Yoga is the method of practice of yoga which the world needs today, with all this violence going on, with all these disturbances that are going on. The world really needs Bhakti Yoga. I always wish all these several yoga schools that are there in the world, if they only practice, preach, make people to understand this Bhakti Yoga, the world will be filled with love, compassion. There will not be any violence. That is the most important technique we need today. Most important thing in that is to surrender our ego. If the ego is not there, the anger will not be there. Ego, violence will not be there. And that's what we need to achieve.
Dump truck, gas station, hotel, motel, auto dealership, and service station. Call us at 407-889-8872 or 321-662-1887. You can also visit us at 2591 West Orange Blossom Trail, Apopka, 32712. But that number again is 407-889-8872.